Learn English through story. The Merchant and the Glassmaker. Once upon a time, in the bustling town of Alvoria, lived a wealthy merchant named Darius. Darius was known far and wide for his shrewd business sense and his vast wealth, accumulated through years of hard work and cunning deals. However, his reputation was a double-edged sword, and while he was respected for his success, he was also feared for his ruthlessness. Alvoria was also home to a humble glassmaker named Lucian. Unlike Darius, Lucian was not wealthy. He lived a modest life, earning just enough to provide for his family by crafting beautiful glassware that was sold in the town market. His works were known for their delicate beauty, and he took great pride in the quality and artistry of each piece he created. One day, Darius decided to expand his business by venturing into the glass trade. He had noticed how well Lucian's glassware sold in the market and saw an opportunity to profit. Darius approached Lucian with the proposition. "Lucian," Darius began, "your glassware is exceptional, but your business acumen is lacking. You focus too much on art and not enough on profit. What if I buy your glassworks? I'll pay you a handsome sum, and you'll never have to worry about money again." Lucian hesitated. The offer was tempting, as he had often struggled to make ends meet, and the idea of financial security was alluring. But there was something about the way Darius spoke, something in the merchant's eyes, that made Lucian uneasy. He had heard the stories of how Darius had driven other artisans out of business, taking their work and turning it into something unrecognizable in the pursuit of profit. "Thank you for your offer, Darius," Lucian replied cautiously, "but my glasswork is more than just a means to make money. It's my passion, my life's work. I cannot sell it to you." Darius was not used to being refused, and the rejection stung. He masked his irritation with a smile. "Of course, Lucian, I respect your dedication. But remember, my offer stands. Should you ever change your mind, you know where to find me." Days turned into weeks, and Darius couldn't shake the thought of the potential profits that Lucian's glassworks could bring. The more he thought about it, the more determined he became to acquire it by any means necessary. Darius began to spread rumors about Lucian's glass. He whispered to his influential friends that the glass was fragile, prone to shattering at the slightest touch. He paid a few dishonest customers to return their glassware to Lucian, claiming it was defective. Slowly, the sales of Lucian's glassware began to decline. Lucian noticed the change. Fewer and fewer people visited his stall, and those who did seemed hesitant, unsure of the quality they had once trusted. Despite this, Lucian continued to craft his glass with the same care and dedication, refusing to compromise his standards. As Lucian's business dwindled, Darius made his move. He approached Lucian once more, this time with a lower offer. "It seems the market is turning against you, Lucian. Perhaps now you will reconsider my offer. I'm still willing to buy your glassworks, but given the recent decline in your sales, I can only offer you half of what I originally proposed." Lucian looked at Darius, seeing through the merchant's feigned sympathy. He knew that Darius was behind the rumors, that he was the one who had sabotaged his business. Yet, Lucian did not confront Darius. Instead, he calmly declined the offer again, though this time with a heavy heart. "Very well," Darius said, unable to hide his frustration, "but I fear you'll regret this decision when you have nothing left." Lucian's business continued to suffer. He sold what little he could, but it was not enough. The day came when he had to let go of his apprentice, a young man who had been learning the art of glassmaking under his guidance. With a heavy heart, Lucian closed his workshop, Unable to afford the cost of keeping it open, word spread quickly through Alvaria that Lucien, the once renowned glassmaker, had fallen on hard times. Darius, ever the opportunist, swooped in and bought the workshop for a fraction of its worth. He hired other glassmakers, instructing them to mass-produce the glassware that Lucien had once made with such care. But the glass that now bore Lucien's name was a pale imitation of what it had been. It lacked the artistry, the soul, that had made it so sought after. The townspeople, noticing the difference in quality, stopped buying the glassware altogether. Darius had overestimated the value of Lucien's name and underestimated the importance of the craftsmanship behind it. His venture into the glass trade was failing, and he was losing money fast. Meanwhile, Lucien, though destitute, was not defeated. He had lost his workshop and his livelihood, but he still had his skill and his passion. He moved to a small village on the outskirts of Alvaria, where he set up a modest workshop in his home. There, he began to create glassware again, not for profit, but for the love of the craft. Word of Lucien's new work began to spread, first through the village, then to neighboring towns, and eventually back to Alvaria. People came from far and wide to buy his glass, drawn by the beauty and the story behind each piece. They saw in Lucien's work a reflection of the man himself, the resilient, dedicated, and true to his craft. Darius, on the other hand, found himself in a predicament. His glass business had failed, and his reputation had suffered. People no longer trusted him, seeing him for the opportunist that he was. His wealth began to dwindle, and he was forced to sell off parts of his business to cover his losses. One day, years after their last meeting, Darius found himself standing outside Lucien's new workshop. He was no longer the wealthy, powerful man he had once been. Humbled by his experiences, Darius had come to realize the error of his ways. He entered the workshop, where he found Lucien at work, shaping a piece of glass with the same meticulous care as always. Lucien looked up and saw Darius standing there, older and worn, but with a look of sincerity in his eyes that he had not seen before. "Darius," Lucien said, acknowledging the merchant with a nod. "What brings you here?" "I've come to apologize, Lucien," Darius said, his voice heavy with regret. "I was wrong to try to force you out of your business, to undermine your work. I've lost everything because of my greed, and I've come to see the value in what you do, the passion, the dedication. I wanted to tell you that I'm sorry." Lucien studied Darius for a moment, seeing the genuine remorse in his eyes. He nodded slowly, accepting the apology. "Thank you, Darius. It takes courage to admit when one is wrong. I hope you've learned from your mistakes." "I have," Darius said. "I only wish I had seen it sooner." "You were right to hold on to your craft, to stay true to yourself." "I lost sight of what really matters." Lucien smiled, a hint of sadness in his eyes. "It's never too late to start again, Darius. We all make mistakes, but it's how we learn from them that defines us." Darius nodded, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. He left the workshop with a sense of peace, knowing that he had taken the first step toward redemption. As time passed, Lucien's reputation as a master glassmaker grew, and his work became more sought after than ever. Darius, humbled by his experiences, found a new path in life, one that did not involve exploitation or greed. He devoted himself to helping others, using the wealth he had left to support artisans like Lucien, who were dedicated to their craft. In the end, both men found their way. Lucien through his unwavering commitment to his art, and guide us through the hard lessons of humility and redemption. And so, the town of Alvoria came to know that true wealth lies not in gold or silver, but in the integrity of one's character and the work of one's hands. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.